Ladies and gentlemen, the penultimate event and bout of the evening, 8 threes when the bell rings in the cruiserweight division. Please welcome out of the blue corner, Anthony McCracken.
We ain't playing with you. Step your ass up. What you wanna do? And get your ass knocked down. What you wanna do? Get ready. What you wanna do? 3-6 Mafia. Let's go. Yeah. We ain't playing going down. Going down. We gon' hit him with the left. Hit him with the right. We gon' hit him with the left. Hit him with the right. It's a fight. It's a fight. Head bust him. Head bust him. It's a fight. It's a fight. Head bust him. Head bust him. We gon' hit him with the left. Hit him with the right. We gon' hit him with the left. Hit him with the right. It's a fight. It's a fight. Head bust him. Head bust him. It's a fight. It's a fight. Head bust him.
And his opponent out of the red corner, make some noise, the Dominic Vea.
Okay, cruiserweight contest set down for 8 3-minute rounds. Let's have a look at the tail of the tape. And Vea, 28 years of age, so just slightly older. The height advantage there to McCracken, and the arm reach about the same too. So a slight height advantage there to McCracken, but overall it's pretty even once again.
He's a big boy, McCracken.
Introducing first my fighter fighting out of the blue corner, representing Tough Enough, ladies and gentlemen, 91.17 kilograms he weighed. His fight record is 12 bouts, 10 victories and 2 losses. He has 3 KOs in those victories. Ladies and gentlemen, make noise, Anthony McCracken! And his opponent across the ring, fighting out the red corner, 92.35 kilos he weighed. Ladies and gentlemen, represents his fights for Team Vea. 11 fights, 10 victories and 1 loss. Ladies and gentlemen, Dominic Vea! Referee in charge of this bout when the bell rings 8 threes is Gary Dean.
Buddy. Stop. Listen, fellas, want a nice clean fight, alright? You're too big for me to start putting up bar. When I say break, I want you to break nice and clean, alright? In case of knockdown, you go to the stand, neutral corners, either side. Stay there until I tell you to come out, alright? Keep your punches up, keep your heads out of the action. Come on. Let's go.
Expecting fireworks here tonight. This should be a fantastic fight in the cruiserweight division. Anthony McCracken, looking at his record, just the 3 KOs, more of a boxer. Vea with 8 knockouts and 10 wins. He obviously likes to send people to sleep. And he's straight in there and straight on to McCracken, who's very, very tentative. You can see there with that jab.
Tommy, jab to the body. Come on.
Vea trying to work himself into the fight behind the jab. Just pity-pat punches there from McCracken.
Jab, take him to the body.
Just working himself into the fight.
Push him back with the jab.
Almost get the sense already, Paul, that Vea's trying to time so that he can counter him with that right hand over the jab.
Yeah, we can see that, can't we? Look, what I've been most struck by already is the speed of Dominic Vea. Not just through the hands, but through the feet. You don't often see that in cruiserweights. Gets around the ring really, really well.
Well, Vea's sitting down on his punches already. You can see a lot more than McCracken. McCracken throwing quite a few combinations, but not a great deal on it, and it's not going to offset Vea.
I don't think he's got a lot of thought behind what he's throwing at the moment. He's throwing the jab.
Nervous energy.
And then, exactly, he's throwing whatever's left after that. Vea's got a clear plan.
Oh, a nice punch there from Vea. And McCracken already in trouble here in the first round. We're only halfway through round number 1. Oh, and he's just missed with that right hand. It would have been good night nurse if that had landed.
Turn him around. Jab, jab, go to the body.
But Vea now knows that he can hurt McCracken fairly easily. It's a straight right hand, right on the point of the chin.
Right ribs there. Slip around.
Now we know why the nervous energy from
On the ropes, look.
Anthony
Side to
McCracken.
side. When you ain't too off, you forward with the jab.
See, for all the work that McCracken's doing here, basically all the punches are landing on the forearms of Vea. They're not really causing any damage whatsoever.
Good. Now jab, jab,
Good
go to the
evasive
body.
work there from Vea, use to the head
Come over the hook.
and digging to the body, so varying the attack well too is Dominic Vea, 28 years of age. Oh, and there again, loading up there with that right hand. McCracken needs to try and keep this fight on the outside. He's got to put some authority behind that jab. He needs to in some way offset the advancing Dominic Vea, who's growing in confidence with every punch he throws.
Jab, jab, Dominic.
He needs to use his height. He needs to stand up a bit. He needs to start throwing that jab away, and he needs to keep Vea at the end of it.
Move the head, move the head. No right leg.
Under
Behind
10
the
seconds remaining here in the first round.
jab. Come on.
McCracken, you would have to say, has been the more active of the two, but as far as quality punching, it's been Dominic Vea, and in particular with that right hand that he landed on McCracken along the ropes.
Do this all night, okay? Mate, get that left straight back.
I think the corner of Dominic Vea would be quite happy with his work in the opening round. He worked his way into the round well, and as we look back here at the damage, there it is, a beautiful right hand, and it was over the jab. A lazy jab there from McCracken.
I will be honest though, Matt, I really don't think, other than that right hand there, I don't think McCracken's corner would be too disappointed with that round either. He worked, and he could have stolen the round through sheer work rate, depending on which way the judges look at it.
That's correct. I mean, you've got the boxer in McCracken versus the puncher in Vea, and it depends on what you like. Vea, for mine, is controlling the tempo of the fight, though. He's forcing his will on McCracken, and almost McCracken, to me, is punching through fear.
Come on, don't stand there like that, don't move.
Nice short left hook there from McCracken on the inside.
Yeah. McCracken's going to have to be very fit to continue fighting this pace for another 6 rounds, 7 rounds.
Is in the black trunk, is this bout 3-minute rounds. This is not where McCracken wants to be. Curled up here against the ropes. He does not want to stand straight in front of Dominic Vea.
Jab, jab, take him to the rope, don't want to say.
Dominic Vea threw a nice left rip there, hit McCracken right on the liver, and he noticed it too. He knew straight away what he'd done, and he'll be looking for it again.
Get him to the rope.
Good defence there from Vea too, holding those hands nice and high, deflecting most of those punches.
Come on. Jab, jab,
Left
take
rip
him to the
again.
ropes.
There's that nice jab, and McCracken's starting to snap with that jab a little bit more here in the second. And the right hand too.
Come on, Dom, now push him off the mark.
Vea's showing a very passive defence here. He's basically putting his forearms up in front of his face and wearing and catching all McCracken's punches on those forearms.
Oh, nice body punch there from Vea. And again, he obviously realised there that he's hurt his opponent.
Look for the ripping hook. Left rip, left hook.
Break, break.
Turn him. Ripping hook to the body.
Oh, big left hook there from Vea too.
Dominic Vea in this fight with the body shot.
Punch out.
Well, he's loading up
Let go of
basically with every punch that he throws, Dominic Vea. He's in the red trunks, and he is the heavier puncher of the two. 8 knockouts in 10 victories.
Come on, jab. That's the punch.
And he's on corner urging him on with those body punches.
Push him up and down. Jab with the jab straight away. Ripping up.
McCracken will not be able to keep up that pace if he continues to absorb that punishment to the body.
McCracken needs to find a way through Vea's defence. He hasn't got the power to blast through it, so he's got to come up with another solution there.
Break. Step back. Clean.
He needs to fake a jab and throw a left hook around it, something like that, which is just what Dominic Vea's done to him.
Well, it's a much closer round here, round number 2. McCracken has been far more active than he was. He's grown in confidence here in the second.
He's bleeding, McCracken, over the left eye.
And there's the man standing between Billy Dibb and victory. Kenichi Yamaguchi from Japan, undefeated. He's come here with an intention of upsetting the Australian fighter. He wants that world rating. He wants to move up the world rankings and gain that shot at what every fighter wants, a world title. And here we go for round number 3. Dominic Vea versus Anthony McCracken.
Stop. Come on, get this ice and that out. Come on,
I've
boys.
given the first
Box.
2 rounds to Dominic Vea. I think the heavier punches and the fact that he's controlled the momentum of the fight, but a lot of people would perhaps argue that McCracken, through his busy work rate, has perhaps stolen the first 2 rounds.
I think you're right there, Matthew. There's no doubt that Vea's controlling the fight here. But gee, terrific guts here from Anthony McCracken. Good on him.
Back comes Vea. They're almost launching himself with that left hook to the body. And here he comes on again. You can see the intent on Vea's face. He doesn't want the judges to become involved in this contest.
Push him up. Jab, 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 everybody. Jab.
There's another right hand from Vea. And there again, digging to the body, which brings the arms down, which again makes the head vulnerable to another attack.
He's hurting him with those body blows.
He's putting on very good pressure to the Vea. It's not mindless pressure. He's really working behind a plan here. And basically, he's dismantling McCracken.
Here's the head. Come forward. That's it. Yes. Jab, jab. Don't wait.
McCracken, they're trying to get those combinations going. That's the only way he's going to offset Vea. It's just not the snap or the power behind his blows. There it is, up the middle goes Vea and snaps back the head of McCracken. And McCracken doing the smart thing there, holding, trying to smother Vea on the inside. Looks good when he lets his arms go, McCracken.
Come on, get your head down, Dom, and go with your body.
If he can knock Vea's hands down,
Move the head side to side.
there's a good chance of coming back into this fight, because when he can get through the shutters there that Vea's putting up in front of his face, he's actually scoring quite well.
Step back, clean.
Come on, Dom, lift it up, lift the pressure. Now,
Corner of
jab down.
Vea urging him to lift the pressure.
A lot of energy coming from the Vea corner, nothing coming from the McCracken corner.
And there's a beautiful rip once again by Vea to the body.
Jab, jab. Relentless with the jab.
Under 20 seconds remaining here in the 3rd round. Oh, and McCracken there loading up for one of the few times with a nice body assault. And this really has been punch for punch here late in this round number 3. Both fighters willing and able, and these are the matchups that Australian boxing needs. Welcome back to Super Boxer on 1 as we look back at some of the highlights from round number 3. A competitive round. You'd have to say once again Vea dominating with his power, but McCracken not by any means out of this contest. He's been throwing punches in bunches, throwing good combinations, and when he lets his hands go, he does seem to offset Dominic Vea. Here we go for the 4th. It's Vea in the red versus McCracken in the black. This bout scheduled for 8 3-minute rounds.
The meat worker from Wagga, Anthony McCracken, he's really given a good account of himself tonight.
Just doesn't seem to have the snap or the power to offset Vea. Vea's got that confidence. You get the feeling that he's just sort of biding his time, waiting for that opportunity to land the big punch.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt that Vea's the classier fighter, but I really like the way McCracken's gone about his business. He's giving himself every chance to win this fight. He's actually coming to fight too, which we don't see sometimes. Sometimes we see guys that get in and they just want to get the distance out. This guy, he's coming to try and win the fight. He's doing the best he can, and he just walked into a right hand there.
Well, it'll also be interesting to see as the fight progresses whether Vea maintains that power and that snap in his punches. Vea continuing to force the action, digging to the body. The courage and toughness of McCracken cannot be denied.
I actually think Vea should start going downstairs a little bit more often. He's got involved here with basically a head-hunting exhibition. And when he was going downstairs before in the early rounds, he was really slowing McCracken up. Now that he's stopped doing that, McCracken's been able to come back into the fight.
And McCracken himself there too, loading up on his punches a little bit more, particularly with that left hook of his. And this is a much closer round. Vea really just fighting in spurts here in the 4th.
McCracken's shown why he's one of the most improved boxers in Australia. I'd like to see Vea just take a small step to the left and rip him with the left.
Vea not quite snapping out now with the authority with that jab anymore. And it's McCracken coming on here late in the round. And you would think if it comes down to a boxing contest, then Anthony McCracken would have the advantage. He is more of a boxer, 10 victories, and only 3 of those have entered inside the distance. Whereas Vea, the exact same amount of victories, but just he's scored 8 knockouts, so an 80% knockout ratio for him as the bell ends the 4th. A great cruiserweight contest.